Here's Brody Brazil.
There are two distinct theories out there, and I gotta say, these are not necessarily mine, but I understand them and I definitely recognize them as existing. Number one is that the A's are not necessarily a for sure thing in Las Vegas until a stadium is actually under construction and eventually built. And another thought is that Sacramento, while the A's are playing there, might get a chance to prove itself, might have a chance of keeping the A's if, in fact, Las Vegas, for whatever reason, doesn't work out. So with those two things from other places understood, I'm here to take a look at actually the chances for Las Vegas and for Sacramento, also the cases against Las Vegas and against Sacramento. It literally is Vegas versus Sacramento here in this video, now that obviously Oakland is out of the equation. So we'll go back and forth. We'll make points for and against both cities. Las Vegas has this easily in their favor, first and foremost. $380 million of public funding from the county and the state of Nevada. They also have Major League Baseball's approval for relocation. And quite honestly, in normal circumstances, that alone should be the end of this video, the end of this sentence, the end of this story. But it's not. There's so much more to the equation, and so there's a lot of things beyond this, but Las Vegas definitely does already have this. The A's still have to provide their private financing. I know they've talked about proof that they have it and that they will commit up to $1.1 billion, but they actually still have to provide that. There's no escrow account for the money to start funneling in. Right now, it's just a written promise on a piece of paper. It might look regrettable, though, if Major League Baseball has gone down this road far enough. And I don't mean just the A's. I'm talking about Major League Baseball as a business, as an entity. There's been so much talk about a team coming to Las Vegas for Major League Baseball. It might be a bad business look, optimally, towards Major League Baseball if one of their teams has to back out, decides to back out, if the situation is a half-built stadium or whatever it is. It's not going to be a good look on baseball if, in fact, they don't move forward with this and totally finish the job. The cost, as you know, used to be $1.5 billion, but as of this week, it's now grown to $1.75 billion. And the other part about this is that the A's are on the hook for all the cost overruns. Again, the $380 million is set. It's fixed. There's not going to be any more public subsidies towards this stadium project. So unless there are other private investors, which we don't understand there to be right now, the A's and the Fisher family themselves are on the hook for all of the cost overruns. But again, Las Vegas has a huge head start here in the public funding that does exist and baseball's approval for that to be a future home. Here's what Sacramento has in its favor: a more proven population, more proven demographics, and a more proven media market. Now, 2.2 million is the population of the Sacramento region, not just the city of Sacramento, but Stockton and all the surrounding cities, Roseville, that go along with Sacramento. That's similar to Las Vegas. 2.2 million is very comparable, Sacramento versus Las Vegas. But what Sacramento has is the fact that they have hosted a major professional sports team since 1985. And I know the Kings went through their own ordeal of potentially being bought and moved somewhere else, like to Seattle. But the point is they have seen the ups and downs where, as Las Vegas, I know they've had the Golden Knights for 6+ years now. They've gone to the Stanley Cup twice. They've won a Stanley Cup. The Raiders are a couple years in, but to varying degrees of success. The Raiders can't even fill the stadium with their own fans. And we'll see what happens when the Golden Knights eventually are, and they will be at some point, a bad and struggling hockey team. What will the attendance be like in Las Vegas? It's hard to say that you truly know the future of the market or the sustainability of the market over just a 5, 6, 7-year span. You need 30 or so years like a place like Sacramento has. Sacramento is the number 20 media market. That's just the amount of televisions and people who watch games and watch sports. That's number 20 compared to Las Vegas at number 40. Las Vegas, by far, is and would be Major League Baseball's smallest media market. And in terms of the industries of Sacramento, agriculture is a big one. There's a lot, though, in healthcare and science and technology, whereas Las Vegas is what? Entertainment. And entertainment's huge. Like, entertainment might really help out with sponsorships and endorsements and selling suites, but the city of Sacramento, in terms of being a little bit more diverse in its offerings and industries, there's different things going on in Sacramento that over the long run might be more beneficial to back a Major League Baseball team than anything else. Las Vegas has a lot of ineligible potential team investors. What do I mean by saying that? Well, Major League Baseball, don't you think they would love to take on a partial ownership of the A's by MGM or Caesars or Wynn, etc.? They can't do that, though. There are restrictions against a gambling and a betting and a wagering operation being a part owner of a Major League Baseball team. That's just not going to happen. So all of the biggest industries, like I just talked about in Las Vegas, mostly entertainment and gaming related, they can't even buy in a share of the A's in Las Vegas. I almost said the Oakland A's. Muscle memory there. But the point being is, although they would be the most likely target of somebody you want to sell 5, 10, 20, 30% of your team to, that's not something that the A's can do. They can't sell part of their team to any one of these entities which exist and have a lot of money in Las Vegas. And reports say that the A's are struggling to secure local investors because outside of the gaming and casino world, what else really exists in Las Vegas in terms of likely investors of a Major League Baseball team? And Bally's, they're involved with the site. They don't own the site, but they're in charge of developing the other 26 acres of the 35 total acres of the Tropicana site. Who knows if they're even able, financially or logistically, to develop the rest of this site surrounding the 9 acres of the proposed baseball stadium. Okay, back to Sacramento. They have the huge help of Kings owner, River Cats owner, and owner of Sutter Health Park, Vivek Ranadive. He's been in the market more than a decade, ever since he bought into the Sacramento Kings, so you have to know and understand he's got a ton of connections and friends and the ability to get things done in Sacramento. And you would also likely have to assume that he largely wants Major League Baseball in some way, shape, or form as part of the future of Sacramento, whether it's the A's staying there, whether it's the consideration of an expansion team for Sacramento in Major League Baseball. This is something he's interested in, the opportunity. And so he's got the connections. He might be able to facilitate something because he is established in the market. Like I said, connections and friends, that might get this situation a lot farther than in Las Vegas, where the A's don't necessarily have somebody in the sports and business world who has been established for more than a decade. Okay, going back to Las Vegas, they have the allure of tourism and Vegas product placement on their side. Let me explain that. Major League Baseball, as much as they want, I think, and they voted unanimously for the A's to relocate there, maybe they just want any team in Las Vegas. Maybe they just want a Major League Baseball retail shop on the Strip. And having a stadium with that shop that has hats and jerseys of all the teams, maybe that's what Major League Baseball is trying to take advantage of here. They just want to plant their flag somewhere on the Las Vegas Strip because they're seeing that the Raiders are in Las Vegas, so the NFL is there. The NHL has been there even longer. The NBA is probably going to get into Las Vegas even before Major League Baseball does if they play over at T-Mobile Arena. So Major League Baseball doesn't want to be late to this party, and it is the allure of capitalizing on tourists from all around the world, global tourism and product placement that you can only get in a place like Las Vegas. Again, global visitors on trips who had never really been exposed to a Major League Baseball game. They're in town for a convention or something else, and they come by the thousands, right? The tens of thousands every single day. Maybe baseball is trying to say, well, we don't know if they'll be fans, but we'll try and take whatever we can get of these people being exposed to our product. But also, there's a real question here of, can you really fill a stadium consistently in Major League Baseball with other teams' fans? Now, the Golden Knights do it to some degree, especially in the winter. They've got a lot of snowbirds that come down from Canadian cities and they watch their team play against the Golden Knights. But this is especially common with the 8 or 9 home games that the Raiders play every single year at Allegiant Stadium. It's a perfect once-a-week trip. It's a weekend trip on a Sunday. You come from Kansas City, you come from Denver, you come from Pittsburgh, you fly out to Vegas, you buy the tickets of a Raiders season ticket holder, you watch your team play, and football is able to do this once a week. Fill a stadium with other teams' fans. The question is this likely in Major League Baseball that people would come from all around the world, or they would come from other professional sports markets, root for their team, and fill the stadium that way if there weren't enough A's fans? Back to Sacramento. And this is kind of a limitation. They currently have no ability to host a Major League Baseball playoff game. Now, that's coming from the A's. That was maybe reported and leaked and discussed. And from what I understand, they have told potential season ticket holders that their purchase does not include playoff games because that is off the table right now, if the A's even get back to the playoffs in their handful of years planned temporarily in Sacramento. The A's also are refusing to use Sacramento's name, so you can see all of this kind of going against Sacramento in the idea of ever keeping the team. There's nothing temporary about a 3-year stay. Again, we're not talking about 3 weeks or 3 months. Sacramento is going to get a very sustained period to showcase themselves and how many fans show up and what they can do for a Major League Baseball team. There's nothing temporary about this stay. They're going to have a big blank canvas to showcase themselves. But again, they can't do it on the biggest stage, and there is no real commitment that the team is actually going to stay there for the long term. But there are in Sacramento, I would say, more potential ballpark locations than actually exist in Las Vegas. Because let's be honest, in Las Vegas, you're probably not going to put your Major League Baseball stadium like where the AAA team did, out in Summerlin. You're not going to build on the outskirts. I don't know that you necessarily should be building right on the Strip. That used to be my initial impression, was that's the only place to do it. But now that you realize congestion and traffic and everything else complicating about that, I think the Rio Hotel would have been a perfect hybrid site for a Major League Baseball stadium. It's Strip adjacent, not necessarily on it, but also not far from it. Easy to get into and out of for 35,000 fans after a baseball game. And the A's were considering that largely at some point. Now it seems like the NBA is laser focused and very pinpointed on that Rio Hotel site for where they want to build a brand new arena for NBA basketball games. So Sacramento might have more offerings in total, more land, more ability, more space, whether it's on the river, whether it's in a different spot, the rail yards. I know that's where the soccer team wants to build a new stadium. Sacramento seems like it has more actual land options than Las Vegas does. Las Vegas also has more competition for the entertainment dollar than almost anywhere else across North America. Maybe New York and in some ways Los Angeles are direct competition, but if you think about the amount of entertainment and shows and things that people pay money to buy tickets for, there are so many enticing things in Las Vegas that the A's are directly going to be up against that competition to sell their own tickets to Major League Baseball games. And in fact, we talk about being first in the market. Well, that was the Vegas Golden Knights, and they largely benefited by being the first major pro sports team to call Las Vegas home. And then the Raiders saw that. They also jumped in the mix. And now the NBA, again, might have a basketball team in Las Vegas before Major League Baseball even gets the chance to arrive. Now, the NBA might build their own arena, but they could start a team literally as soon as, 2 years down the road? Let's say 2027. They play 1 or 2 years at T-Mobile Arena while the new place is being built in the parking lot of the Rio Hotel. It could be that simple, that baseball is the last major pro sports league and team of the big four that exist in Las Vegas. And what if the team is bad? And again, this is an entertainment option. What if a Vegas show is bad? Right? There's too many other big things to do there. You're not going to waste your time and money seeing something that's bad. What if the team is bad in Las Vegas? It's different there than a bad baseball team in San Diego or Kansas City or Denver or Cleveland. You name it. Bad teams struggle everywhere, but they would especially struggle when there are a lot of other things to do besides go to a baseball game. And we mentioned a bad team. I guess that kind of goes along with the thought of it's tough for Las Vegas in a sense that look at the billboards, look at the names and faces and personalities that have residencies and call Las Vegas home. If you're the A's and you don't have a Juan Soto type player or a Shohei Ohtani type attraction in 2028, if you're opening up your new stadium, what do you have? And how do you compete with everything else that's going on? It's not only not easy, it's going to be very difficult. As we close it out here, I think Sacramento, though, in this entire situation, has a very good chance at good optics. What do I mean by that? They are very likely to regularly sell out Sutter Health Park. It only seats 10,000. Like, if you don't sell that out on an every game basis, that's a red flag for Sacramento and the team and everything going on. So 10,000 seats should be sold out nightly. And I say nightly, not daily, nightly in Sacramento. You have to understand, as Sacramento goes, and could they support a major league team on a regular basis? I think they probably could. 10,000 is a lot different than even 32,000 per night. Like, it's a fraction. It's literally a fraction, but still, 10,000 is a significant amount. It's not a proving ground to say that this is what attendance could look like. But I do think that the optics of sellouts, and what if the A's actually get good as a team, and what if there's a little bit of traction and momentum with this baseball team in Sacramento, trust me, sellouts plus a good team, plus some energy, plus some personality, it's only going to lead people across the country to thinking, oh, Sacramento may not have been as bad a spot after all, and they get the first crack at this before Las Vegas would ever even get to touch the team. So again, the possibilities of all this, the likeliness of Sacramento as a permanent home versus Las Vegas happening or not, we're still figuring all of that out in real time. But I think at least for right now, Sacramento versus Vegas, it's an interesting conversation, the fors and against that each city is facing right now. That's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below since you made it here to the end. I really appreciate that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.